Hi, boys and girls. It's great to see you again. We are continuing our lessons on multisyllable words and using the information we know from this type of syllables. So the syllable type that we're focusing on today in our multisyllable words is probably the hardest one of all. It's the vowel teams. That's why this chart I'm holding up, it should be your most looked at chart in your classroom to kind of try to, especially the unpredictable ones. Okay, the predictable ones are kind of easy. They all make the same sound all the time. I mean, each one makes the same sound. They don't change in sound. So let's just review those really quick. So we have A. That's why they're next to each other. Ah. This one is tricky because they put them together just because they didn't have a partner, but they don't make the same sound. So when you see the double E, it says E. When you see IGH, it says I, all the time. Okay, these are predictable. Then OA says O, OE says O, and then this says oi and oi. So these two pairs are probably the trickiest because they don't actually say a vowel name that it's a different sound than we usually know. The worst ones are the unpredictable, and this is where you should be referring to the chart. Okay, whenever you see EA, most often it's going to say E, but sometimes it might say EW most often says U, but sometimes oo. IE most often says E. We can all read the word chiefs, but sometimes it says I. Two O's most often says oo, but sometimes The OU most often says ow, but sometimes The OW most often says O, but sometimes it says ow, like in owl. And they give the word underneath for the sound, okay? So that you can, it's supposed to be a familiar word, so you can get that sound that it's making. So that's why this chart is very, very helpful, okay? So I just wanted to remind you of that. So here are our words today. Hopefully you have your paper, pencil, or whiteboard marker, whatever you're using. And I do want you to go ahead and write these letters. S-I-T-K-A-Y. Okay, and our routine is the same. We just need to be aware that in these words, we will have more vowel teams. Okay, so there may be vowel teams happening. Okay, our symbol for vowel teams is the two letters together. Okay, but otherwise our routine is the same. So we're going to go right here and point to the first two vowels we come to. I see an I and an A. As always, I look between, and the general rule is to divide those consonants in half. Okay? So on your word, point to the two vowels, check between the consonants between, and divide them. Hopefully, you've divided this word. Show me the syllable type. Closed. Brain says closed, short vowel, that word is pronounced sit. Then we move our hand or our card, and we look here. And we get ready to figure out this syllable type, and our brain says, I'm not fooled, that AOI is a vowel team. And I know that vowel team says A. So my word is K, or my syllable. And now the whole word, again, eyes on the word, sit-K, sit-K. Do make sure you're reading all the way through. Don't mumble it or rush it. Sit-K. Okay, let's move on to this one. Possibly my favorite word, if not maybe this one. Both of them are really cool. All right, on your paper or your whiteboard, write these letters. Z-E-E-P-S-L-A-T-E. Okay? All right, here we go. This is where it gets a little tricky. So I'm going to point, as I've been telling you the whole time, to the first two vowels. But when I do that, I'm like, oh, wait a second. Those are right next to each other, and I see a whole bunch of words still to go here. So what do you think, boys and girls? That's a vowel team, so I'm just going to point to that one with one finger because those are a vowel team and those two E's are acting together. And so then I'm going to look across to find my next vowel. Does that make sense? I bet some of you figured that out already. Okay, So I'm treating this as a vowel, one vowel together, and then I have my other vowel here. So I'm going to look between these two E's and the A. And I see P, S, L. Those uneven numbers, or those uneven consonants are hard to figure out. So if I have 3 consonants, I can divide it either between the first and the second consonants, or maybe between the second and third consonant. You know what? Either way is going to be fine. You choose. You divide it either here or here. It won't change the vowel, but it will kind of change how you pronounce it. Draw your line. Now I chose to divide it between the P and the S, and I'll tell you why. I noticed that this SL, that is a common consonant blend. So I kind of feel like those consonant blends need to be said together, those two. So that's why I divided it there. But if you did not divide it there, it's fine. You'll just pronounce it slightly different, okay? So since I divided it between the P and the S, I go like this. I double check my vowel again because I'm not ready to read the word unless I thought in my brain how I'm going to divide it. So there's 2 E's, okay, so that's a vowel team, and that is pronounced E. So that syllable would be pronounced good, zeep. Then I move and I look at this part. What type of syllable is this? Yeah, silent E, because we have the A with the E. And I'm going to read this word, slate, slate. Now I have to put it together, zeep, slate. Now if you had drawn the line here, divided it there, you would just pronounce it zeeps late. It's a very subtle difference. It sounds a little different, zeeps late or zeep slate. But both of those would be acceptable, okay? It's just a slight pronunciation. All right, we're ready to move on to this one. Boy, that's a long word. Write these letters, M, A, U, D, C, H, O, Y. Okay. Ready? Okay, got it down? Go ahead and point to your first 2 vowels. Hopefully you know what to do, because if I point to AU and I think, oh, wait a second, that's a vowel team, I need to move down here, don't I? Yep. Okay, so the AU we're treating together because they're a vowel team, and then we have U. So now we're looking at D, C, H. Okay, use your thinking. There's really only one way to divide this one, the D, C, H. Okay, draw your line. Hopefully you divided it after the D, because the CH, we can't split that up, okay? They make one sound together, so we have to keep them together. So we're going to be right there. And we already noted that this was a vowel team. So now in your head, you have to think AU. What does that vowel team say? Okay, it's one of the harder ones. It doesn't really say an actual vowel sound that we talk about. It says aw, okay? So we would pronounce this part of the word mod, mod, okay? And then we move over. We've kept our CH together, and we know that this is our vowel, right? O. We see this Y. We're not going to say the Y consonant sound, are we? No. The OY is a vowel team. So hopefully you remember that this is also a vowel team syllable. Because remember, you can't pronounce it until you know what syllable type this is. So being that that's the vowel team that says oi, so this word is choy. And now let's read the word together. I'm going to trace my finger across, and I want you all to say it. Let's try it again. It's a lot of letters. Mod choy. Okay, I hope you see how I kept my eyes down and I kept my mouth moving all the way across. Mod choy. Feel like that's a dish that you could get at an Asian restaurant or something. Okay, let's move on to this word over here. Write this on your paper. K-O-A-D-P-E-T. Okay, all right, we're going to divide this one together. I'm pointing to my vowels. I see the OA, but I'm not fooled. That's an OA vowel team, and I'm going to point to the other vowel here. I'm going to look between, and I see these two. I'm going to divide right in the middle, okay? And now I'm going to look at this and read it as code. And don't read it wrong. It kind of looks like another word that you know is OAD, but really make sure you're looking at the letters. So there's code pet. And the word is code pet. Okay? All right. Let's look at this one. I want you to write that word down right now. Fledpoit. And I'm going to stop. And I want you to divide it, or point your vowels and divide it, and then see if you can pronounce it for your teacher. You can pause if you need a little more time. Okay. All right. Watch. I bet you did this. I bet you found the E and the OI as a vowel team. I bet you divided between the D and the P. And then I'm fairly certain you said that syllable was fled and that syllable was point. And when you read it to your teacher, I bet you read fled point. Fled point. Okay? I'd like you to look at this one down here. Let's try this one. This is our last one to try together. AIFFOIN. AIFFOIN. Okay? So I'll point. And I'm fairly certain right now that you've noticed that that's a vowel team there and this is a vowel team here. So we're looking at the two F's. We'll divide those right in the middle between. Okay? And then we're going to look at this one and we're going to think about our syllable type, which is vowel team. We're going to make sure we remember AI, and it says A. So we would say that, AIF. And then we've got this OI, which again is vowel team, but that's a funny one. It says OI, and that says foin. So our very unusual word is AIFFOIN. AIFFOIN. Okay? Here's the one for you to do with your teacher after the video. Go ahead and write on your paper FOANFOIT. Make sure it's written down, and then turn off the video and show your teacher that you can divide multisyllable words that contain vowel teams. Thanks for doing such a great job.